games or so since you've been back. Just how have you found your way since you returned from that injury?
It's definitely been a trip to figure myself out back into the offense. I think one thing that coaches really preached on was just to keep it as simple as possible. So, post up hard, rebound, run the floor hard, like do all the little things, and games like this will come. Obviously, I wasn't scoring the ball great, but I also was out for 4 weeks, so just figuring out the little things, like I said, and keeping it as simple as possible.
What was it? You needed dental surgery or something?
Yeah, so I guess now that I'm back, I can say what happened, but I actually broke my jaw right here, and so it was a hairline fracture, and so I had to get root canals, and then just because of the stress on it, I couldn't play for 4 weeks to allow my jaw to heal back up. So yeah, that was what happened.
Did it take a while just to get used to contact? Or?
Yeah, the coaches are awesome. For those 4 weeks, they really figured out ways around it. So like controlled contact of the pad only on like certain areas of my body and still getting that feel back. Working out with some of our practice boys a little bit, and they knew not to go too hard or anything. So they definitely kept me in shape. So that was the biggest thing.
And what about once you got back to the game? Was it a little nerve-wracking for you, just the first game?
Yeah. The first game back was Villanova at Villanova. And so that was like a huge game to come back on. And it was definitely moving fast for me. I think like after that game, it was more so just going back, looking at the film, and I'm doing stuff good, and then I'm doing stuff really bad. So how do we close that gap a little bit? And because that's natural when you take 4 weeks off in the season. So trying to just be a little bit more consistent for my team in that way.
Yeah, so obviously, sorry, night playing on senior night. So for you and her, what is that relationship like? Obviously, you play the same position. How have you looked up to her your time at Marquette?
Oh my God, I think it started like that summer of COVID going into my freshman year. Chloe was like my go-to for everything. And since I walked in the door at Marquette, Chloe's just been an incredible role model for me. She's the hardest worker I've ever met. Whether the lights are on, whether it's completely dark, no one's in the gym, she's gonna have the same mentality to get better. It's definitely super emotional for me seeing her leave. I've looked up to her, my whole time here, and the impact she's made on this program is gonna last for a long, long time. And yeah, I'm really, really proud of her and what she's done this year.
Yeah, so for you, a huge part of your team's 36 rebounds tonight, you had 14 of those. How did you feel about how your team collectively got the ball off the boards tonight?
Yeah, so our game plan going into this was obviously Murrow is huge on the boards. So I think of, we had to have 1 or 2 people boxing her out, and at the same time, being responsible for your person. And we always say 5 crashing on defense. So it can't just be me and Chloe down there battling. Like, we have to have guards come there, scoop up the ball so we can run the floor, and I think that's exactly what we did. So.
Yeah, so as a team, you shot 10 for 20 from 3. You had 2 of those tonight. How do you feel about your shooting? Where does that confidence come from?
Yeah, I think it comes from the gym. I'm definitely like just a numbers person in terms of I need to get my work in, and so whenever I get in the gym and get my reps up, that's when I feel most confident.
What are you looking forward to most this weekend? Big East tournament.
Oh yeah, Big East tournament, it's a lot of highs and a lot of lows. It's hard to like keep your steady emotionally. I think of last year, we killed DePaul and then we turn around and play UConn, and it's just like, it's this, but it's so exciting. There's so much on the line, and as an underclassman, that kind of makes you nervous, but as an upperclassman, like even going off of last year and then this year, like it just makes you so excited because you're playing for a lot, and I'm really, really confident in my team's abilities this weekend, so I'm excited to see what we can do.
It kind of just seems like it's anyone's. In the last couple of years, it's always been like, you guys probably gonna walk away, but like this year it's different. Like Big East is very competitive, and it seems like anyone can take it home. So what does that just say to your confidence and just like your guys' mentality, knowing that you guys can be walking away with this trophy?
Yeah, that's huge. I think beating UConn this year was huge for us too. Like you said, in the past, it's always been kind of like who can make it to the championship game, and then like ultimately it's really hard to beat UConn, especially in March. They're a different team. So this year, just with what you're saying about like how competitive everything is, they might send 4 teams from the Big East to the tournament this year, which is also huge for our conference. So even fighting for those spots, you know, fighting for your season, you know, you work the whole year for this goal of the tournament, and so now it's kind of like it's right there, so whoever wants it, like you said.
And then going off of that, of course, you'll play St. John's first on Saturday, and 1 loss, 1 win against them. What's the game plan just going into that?
So obviously Everett is really, really good for them. Last time we played them at home, that was like a big thing for us, is to make sure she doesn't get too comfortable. Obviously she's probably all Big East team, so you know their scorers are going to score, but it's more so of how can we also shut down all of their secondary players as well. And then as a post player, you know, you're playing 2 very physical posts that rebound the ball at an incredibly high rate. I think both of them are averaging around 10 rebounds a game, and that's like insane. So being able to lock back in on the boards like we did tonight will be really, really big for us as well.
That's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
guys.